There's Ryne Sandberg, class of 2005. Doesn't seem all that long ago. Ryne Sandberg joins us now at the Hall of Fame with Jason Stark as well. Ryne, it's great to see you again.
Always great to be here for this weekend. It's the thrill of my summer every year. Look forward to it, to be amongst the guys, talk baseball, compare notes, and it doesn't get old for me. Always a pleasure to be here, no doubt about it.
It has become a thing unto itself in the players who come back. You join that fraternity. Have you developed friendships through the years of players that you really didn't know when you came here?
No doubt about it. You know, in most of my career, all but 1 year, it was the National League, played the National League. It wasn't interleague play.
Right.
So for me to see some of the players in the American League, like the Ripkins and the guys that I played against, that was in all-star games. Other than that, I've joined up with them at the Hall of Fame and met them and their friends. And I'll never forget the Sunday after my speech going into the Otesaga bar. The first guy I looked over at, and it was Bob Gibson, who was way ahead of me. He was the idol, and watched him on TV as a kid.
Right.
Waved me over. Hey, Rhino, great job today. Hey, sit down and have a drink with me.
Wow.
We became friends after that. Our wives connected. He traveled through Phoenix and stopped in his RV, had dinner. When I was managing the minor leagues, stopped in Omaha, had barbecued ribs over at his house. That was a friendship that I never thought would happen.
Yeah. And
now that he's passed away, I just treasure those times. But to be around the Yogi Berras and the players ahead of me, Stan Musial, who played the harmonica, his last time playing the harmonica for the guys was in 2005. Wow. And I was told to go in there and watch that. We don't know how long he's going to be playing, but he played that night for the guys. And to see the legends way before me, and then now the current guys going in, it's always something else, and once again, it's always the highlight of my summer.
Here's something that I wonder. When you walk into this building, what are your emotions? What do you think about? What do you want to go see?
I go and see my plaque just to pinch myself and remind me I got the ring on today, but being a part of the group in the Hall of Fame, but just a reflection back to Wade and I going in the same year. There was a big crowd. I think it was nearly 60,000, which I think was the third largest at that time. That was amazing out there at the park. And then to come in here, it feels like home in a lot of regards. My wife and I got here yesterday. We're walking around the Otesaga, and then we're going over to the golf course, and wow, this is like a second home to me now. And then to see the familiar faces and to reconnect each year at this time. And it's like we were just with each other last week. It's like having brothers. It's like a brother type of a thing. And it's amazing. We talk about the game. We compare notes, the good, the bad, or whatever. But to talk about our generations and just how the game was so similar, even from the 50s, 60s, 70s to the 80s, 90s. Now we talk a little bit of a different type of a game. I think in today's game we compare those notes and the good, the bad, whatever, but it's always fun to kind of talk baseball, and anything that I keep holding inside that I can't share with somebody, I get to share it here with the Hall of Famers, and I get reinforcement that I'm thinking the right way. It's always good.
Conversations start. Have I lost my mind? Or yes, I know those conversations.
But any conversations we have as Hall of Famers that can help the game today, we like talking about it because we hope to have the game continue as the game of baseball somewhat as we know it, and it can be such a difficult game and a strategic game, which hard to know if some of that is lacking in today's game, the strategy. So
let me ask you about the impact of the shift rules on your position, because second base with the shift had become a position where they'd say you just stand there. Right now, athleticism is back as a thing at second base. You were one of the great defensive second basemen of your time. What do you see in that end?
I like that. That's where athleticism, intelligence, knowing the hitter, knowing his tendencies, looking in at the catcher, knowing the pitch, knowing the location. Now, as an infielder, you adjust either mentally or just slightly physically, and then that's how you get in the right place each and every pitch. It could be a different spot. That was a big part of the game. With the shift, you had 4 defenders standing there, and they had like a 6-foot lane they had to cover. And I don't know if I would have liked to play second base and been out there in right field with the grass and all that stuff going on and everything. But I think it becomes more important for the infielder to be a heads-up player and to be in the game every single pitch, and like I said, they have much more room to cover. Now you see the athleticism and the better plays being made at all the defense positions, which I like. That's what I'm used to seeing.
You can see it back again. There was the 10-year shift period, which I enjoyed, but I realized, aesthetically it's better now. But along those lines, when you need an athletic player to do multiple things at second base, he's not going to be hitting as many home runs as a first baseman.
Exactly.
And the voting, take a look at the voting for the baseball writers putting in second baseman. How many there were? It was, in the early days, it was Eddie Collins, Rogers Hornsby. The next one, Joe Morgan. Wow. So we're talking, it goes up. Now, Jackie Robinson he played multiple positions, but we're talking going to Joe Morgan, and then where's Morgan on that? Oh, there's Morgan on the list. I had to find him. 1990, then Rod Carew, 1991, and then Ryne, you're next. 2005. So it went from like 1942 to 1990, no second baseman voted. Your brethren didn't vote in one second baseman because I guess you wanted 500 home runs, but it's hard to get in. When you got in, it was 15 years since a second baseman had been voted in.
That's amazing to me, and I think in today's game now, second baseman now becomes a valuable position where you need athleticism, you need range, you need the bat. Everyone likes the bat, so for me, it becomes more important. And for me, it was defense first, and it was offense second. That was that's the way I came up in the late 70s. You play defense because defense was every day, and you're helping your pitcher, you're winning game. Pitching and defense wins games. I was taught that when I was 18 years old in the Phillies minor league system. Defense was first. That was when I stepped onto the field. I threw accurate. I threw long for relays. I took my ground balls, I took my double play balls, I took my pop-ups. I covered everything on the defensive side of things. That was taken care of because that was my priority. Yeah. Next was the batting, and then that was secondary always for me. I was going to go into a slump somewhere along the line each year. Can't do anything about that, but make the adjustments and you'll come out of it. But defense for me, I didn't want to be in a slump for a week on the defensive side of the ball. Now the pitcher's looking at me, the infield coach is looking at me. You got to make the defensive play. You got to make the routine plays.
Well, your
every
retroactive defensive metrics are astounding, by the way, which sometimes I had to go back and find them. You had enough 40 home runs and 100 RBIs that it got people's attention, and you got in. I'm just wondering quickly, second base along those lines, a lot of the lost to history Hall of Famers are the guys who were at second base. Bobby Grich, Lou Whitaker. There's still a lot of talk about, hey, when these guys get on a Veterans Committee. And Dustin Pedroia, Ian Kinsler are going to hit the ballot soon. Jeff Kent just fell off the ballot. Chase Utley will be on for the first year. Give me any thoughts to guys who impressed you, Ryne, at second base that you think, hey, this guy should get more play.
Lou Whitaker. Him and Alan Trammell in the other league. Didn't get to see them. Didn't play. They were in Florida. We were in Arizona. Did not get to see them play. But they were a shortstop, second baseman. And then once it was myself and Sean Dunston for 11 years, I always kept track of what Trammell and Whitaker were doing to make sure that me and Sean were holding our own offense and defense. Yeah. And just admired their play. I admired their playing every day, putting the bat on the ball, playing the game the right way. Whatever it took. So Lou Whitaker, for me, was a guy that I made sure that I was keeping up in some regards, that I was doing my job for the National League as he was doing in the American League.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, there could be a Veterans Committee that sees it that way. You don't know. It could happen.
You just need the right guys in the room.
We do that. Ryne, great having you here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, enjoyed it. Thank you.
Again, 1984 MVP, 2005, class of 2005 here at the Hall of Fame.